Welcome to Big Ramotha's Adventure. Today is day 14 of our Alaska road trip. We are getting a little bit later start than we had hoped for. Been waiting for the rain to slow down. It has been raining nonstop all night. Not sure if the microphone is picking up the rain sounds on the roof right now, but kind of made it a little difficult to sleep, especially when it was raining a little bit heavier. It's still raining pretty slow out right now, but we got everything inside pretty much squared away, other than pulling the benches up, and then left my rain jacket on and finish the outside. Truck's only partially hooked up, and then we'll get on our way. Today we are heading to the Teslin Lake Government Campground. No reservation, so we hopefully get there in time to find a spot. Otherwise, driving a little bit further than planned today. But then we have a stop in Watson Lake, that famous signpost forest, where Renee has handmade a couple of signs for us out of old license plates that she painted. Not sure if we'll see too much wildlife with all the rain, but hoping that not driving in the rain all day today, when we get out of it, the weather saw at least where we're going. It's supposed to be a little bit nicer by the time we get there. So, yeah. You guys ready to get on the road? All right, let's get on the road. We are in the Yukon. We've already made a few crossings. So the road here goes back and forth across the Yukon and British Columbia border, 6 times total. Yep. I think we've done what, 2 or 3?
2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3 now. Quick stop for gas in Contact Creek before we continue on to Watson Lake. Check out the signpost forest. I think we're making pretty good time. It's about noon, and we got 3 hours and 40 minutes left to go, so hopefully we'll get there early enough to find a good spot. Let's get back on the road. Sign up at the signpost forest. One that Raylene made. There. Here's one. You want to put your other one there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you do this?
You do this one? Alright.
Got it.
She needs nails. Do that after, Mom.
There you go. Woohoo!
Okay. Now, Raylene, what is the story behind that one?
It's themed after the new 21 Pilots album, Clancy,
And why?
because it's my favorite.
Because it's your favorite band. That was the famous Signpost Forest right off the highway in Watson Lake, Yukon Territory. Got the signs put up that Raylene made. Make it a good spot. Yep. Right up on the hill, or on the side of the hill, on a couple of trees there. So we've still got about 3 hours left. We're about halfway through our drive for today. It's really rainy when we started out this morning, but then it's cleared up. It's actually kind of warm now. Well, it was warm in the sun. About 60 degrees Fahrenheit now. It was 37 degrees when we left in the rain.
Yeah.
It's kind of miserable, but not too bad now. Hitting a few really dusty sections of the road. We had one section where I really had to hit the brakes because I could not see more than a couple feet in front of us because of the dust cloud, and I knew there was vehicles in front of me and had to wait for them to clear before we can go on.
Yeah.
Seen several buffalo or American bison and another black bear so far since our last stop.
Yes.
But we want to try and beat some of these other RVs and trailers that we see parked at the Sign Forest here, just in case they're going to the same campground, so we can hopefully snag a spot. Let's get back on the road. Rest stop in the middle of nowhere, Yukon. Just a couple outhouses on the side of the road. We got about 2 hours left. Shows us getting there about 5 o'clock. So let's get back on the road. Guess I wasn't recording. I thought I was. So there's some old cars in the back of the woods here. We already saw that one down there. Looked like a mid-60s Chevy something. This is an old delivery van. The Metromite on the side, which also could be probably early mid-60s. I'd say. And I'm not sure that one is up there. And then there's an old truck up here. Go around the other way. The car back in there had a bumper sticker that said Manitoba Metro Club. So here's an old flatbed truck. Oh, and a green car with a log meteor.
And that's
You know, this looks like maybe an old International or maybe a Chevy truck. Very symbol on the front. Maybe, yeah, I think maybe a Chevy. This one looks a little bit older, newer than some of the other ones. Meaner. That tire even looks like it still has air in it. Yeah, clearly been here a very long time with how much moss and stuff has grown on the wood in the old flatbed. Daniel says there's a good view over here. We'll check it out. Those flowers. These are pretty. Yeah. That was normal. Oh. That's really interesting. I don't know what that is. Little pond or lake here. That's the Alaska Highway right there. Well, this is definitely not the waterfall we thought we were going to, so let's go back to the truck. So I think there maybe used to be something here. Maybe an old cabin or a service station. There's definitely a structure here that burnt down at some point, so this is kind of back behind, near where we parked, behind the dirt trail that was not the trail to Rancheria Falls like we thought. So here I can see, looks like old mattress springs, some rusty old cans, kind of what's left of a foundation, and some charred remains. It looks like maybe it was like a little log cabin. See some like electrical hookup or something, some pipes sticking out there. And then back over here, this is what makes me think of a service station. There's some old metal, kind of see some concrete left there, and some kind of hole, so possibly were gas pumps there at one point. And it did look like, was something on the other side too here, an old sign. You guys don't have the keys, you can't get in. There you go. Let's go check out the... Okay. Oh, no, we gotta get going. Oh. Get out of there. So maybe it was another structure here. I thought it was a sign. Interesting. All right, well, that was an interesting little side trip distraction, unexpected. Let's get back on the road though, we still got a little bit to go. That was Rancheria, not Ranchero, Rancheria Falls, our first actual trail in the Yukon Territory. Pretty short and easy.
Yeah.
Nice, pretty little falls right off the Alaska Highway in the middle of nowhere, Yukon. There's nothing else around here, but we hiked through a boreal forest, which is pretty cool. It said that this forest burned down a little over 100 years ago. And now is in the mid-late stages of reconstitution or regrowth. So that was neat as well. But what do you guys think of those falls?
I liked them. The first one I thought was cooler.
Yeah.
I really liked Boardwalk.
Yeah. Those are very easy trails.
Yeah.
All right, we still got about an hour and a half left to go. I think we got a gas stop coming up pretty short here. So we're gonna top off. We're just below a half a tank. And I don't think there's anything for a little while after this one, so hopefully it's still open. But let's get back on the road. Just stopped at the Continental Divide gas station, lodge, and new RV park, it says. A lady working here said that we're about to get into a really beautiful drive. A lot of water and stuff coming up once we hit the Continental Divide very shortly here. So still got an hour and a half left. It was not very far from our last stop.
Nope.
Only a couple of kilometers. I'm glad it was open though. So let's get back on the road. Previous videos, someone said they wanted to see the trailer surround view in action. So here it is. We actually already used it, but there's people waiting behind us. So I didn't want to fiddle with the cameras while somebody was waiting to get around us, trying to back into the site. But I am going to move a little bit because we are kind of on the left edge, driver's side edge of the site here that's sloped. Let's get back on the trailer surround. It's one thing when you switch from drive to park, it tends to want to switch back to the rear view backup camera or the truck instead of staying on the surround view camera. But we've got plenty of room behind us. I think we got a good amount of room on the passenger side. Let's see, we'll adjust this a little bit more. That's a little bit more level. Pull forward just slightly again. And that should do it. So there is the surround view in action. We can look to, we're already looking at the rear. So that's the rear of the trailer. I mean the truck. So we can look at the right side. We got a good amount of room over there. Left side. Now front side is kind of dirty and covered with bugs, but you can see the truck right now. So there it is all the way around. Really comes in handy for getting into, backing into campsites like this. So now just need to go out and put our levelers into place, get this thing leveled out. Still got quite a lean to the driver's side, but I don't think this is about as good a positioning as we're going to get for this site. End of day 14. Bit of a long drive today, not as long as it's going to be tomorrow though. So we did have a couple of stops that may take a little bit longer. Without the stops would have been a little under 6 hours. I think we were closer to 7 or 8 hours by the time we got here. So we stopped at the signpost forest, put your signs up. That was fun. Looked around there for a bit, and then we stopped and accidentally stopped at what looked like an old burned out service station, maybe with some cars back in the woods that you definitely couldn't see from the highway. So we would not have known those were there. They're definitely not on any map or in the milepost or any other guide. But that was kind of neat. What do you guys think of that? That was pretty cool. Yeah, we turned a little bit too soon, trying to find the Rancheria Falls. And then we did a quick hike to Rancheria Falls. We crossed the border to and from the Yukon, between Yukon and British Columbia 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
And then we finally arrived at the Teslin Lake Campground in Teslin, Yukon, which was part of the I don't know how to say it. It's a First Nations, or as we would call them in the U.S., Native American area. So rained on us most of the day. We did have some breaks here and there, sprinkling on and off since we've been here at the campground. But we finally had our first campfire
Can't believe we're 14 days in and finally having our first campfire in the sprinkles. It's okay. What do we cook on the campfire?
No,
Your favorite? Yeah. Does that make you happy?
Yeah.
Finally do something like that for dinner? Yeah. It's actually only the second campground that has even had a fire pit. The last one we were at the Northern Rockies Lodge in Muncho Lake had a fire pit, but there was no firewood available. And they were still a little sensitive to fires in that area since it's close to Fort Nelson, where they recently had a pretty big fire that evacuated that town. So they told us that he really want us to have fires anyways. We'll check then. But here it was actually had free firewood provided at the campground.
Yeah, just like in like a little like mini outbuilding, there's firewood there for you.
Covered nice and dry and everything. And there's a sign that says it's for use in this campground only. So we'll take any with you. This is our first stop where we're really kind of more boondocking it. It is an actual campground. It was a $20 Canadian fee for the site tonight. We did arrive just in time before it filled up completely. There actually were about a half dozen sites available. We kind of circled around and then ended up picking the first spot. Downside is it's kind of next to the highway, but now it's getting later and there's not a lot of traffic on the highway anyway.
Right. It was an easy spot.
It was an easy spot to back into, yeah. So, that worked out pretty well. But as we were setting up, a whole bunch of vehicles came in, and somebody was waiting behind us for us to back into the site. And as soon as I got out of the truck, he said, "Did you already do a loop around?" And I said, "Yeah." "Were there any more sites available?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's a few extra down there still." So they probably got one, but we saw several other vehicles come in. There was a Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the Mountie that came through, patrolling the campground. Talked to him for a little bit. Nice old guy. I said he actually had retired from out of Vancouver Island about 9 years ago, but wanted to come up to this area. So he's kind of came out of retirement to fill in for somebody out here so that he would have a chance to visit the Yukon and see some stuff out in this area. Pretty install. But from this point forward, all of our camping is similar to this. No electric, no water. This one's pretty primitive. There's actually no real bathrooms as well. There are just small little outhouses. And there was a hand pump just a couple sites away to get some water, but you do have to boil it. And not that they could boil it to use it there, which is what we've been doing to make up for our water being broken. I think it was actually broken before we started the trip, but we didn't have time to get it fixed before embarking on the trip. So we do have some water in the tank that we can still access by draining it from underneath the trailer to use. But since there was a pump available, we're reserving that water just in case we get to another site later on, or we're boondocking somewhere not at an actual campground, so we can use the water in the tank if necessary. And then we've got plenty of bottled water that we've been using for drinking. So we really only been using water from other sources, kind of filling a pot or a jug and bringing it back so that we can do some dishes.
Yeah.
So wish the weather was a little bit nicer when we got here. The lake looks pretty beautiful. But it is cloudy and raining. Rain. What should they do? Oh, I thought I'd switch it up. You're not going to do it? Okay, Daniel, what do they need to do?
You guys should like and subscribe.
Make sure you do what he said, because we got a lot more coming up. We are almost at the halfway mark of our trip. Tomorrow, we will reach the halfway, at least as far as days are concerned. And we will finally be crossing the border into Alaska. We're going to be trying to stop at Dead Man Lake as our next campground, if there's spots available when we get there. Got about 425 miles to drive tomorrow. We have been driving through I think the most remote area that we've ever really driven to. The Yukon Territory is the least populated out of anything that we're going to be in on this trip. I don't remember what the total population for the territory is, but I do know that we read that Whitehorse, which we'll be driving to tomorrow, the capital of the Yukon, has a population of about 34,000, and that represents 2/3 of the entire population of the Yukon Territory. So there are not a lot of people out here. There's not a lot of towns along the highway here, very few and far between. But we've talked to some real nice people at the places we have stopped. Most of the little remote gas stations are kind of owned and operated by people that live there in the gas station. A lot of them are attached to a little RV park or a lodge or something as well. But the one that we stopped at first week in British Columbia, kind of a rundown old building with a cute old couple that were running it. They had to be probably in their 70s at least, if not 80s. They had a little dog keeping watch on the porch that everybody pat on the head when they walked in and out. And I think the dog actually kind of alerts them as when somebody pulled up, because I noticed that the dog would walk inside and then the old man would walk out to operate the pump for you, and the dog would lay back down on the porch in between. So that was pretty neat. It was pretty cute.
Yeah.
But
Rod.
dog's name was Jake. Yeah, he really deep down. All right. So that's it for today. We're ready to get some rest. As always, thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.